Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here with you today. As Shannon said, my name is Telisha Jones. I am the SVP of Residential Operations for Windsor Communities down in the Lone Star State in Dallas, Texas. And I am thrilled to talk with you guys about a topic that may have been keeping some of us up at night, if I'm being honest, or at least has crossed our minds, and that's be curious, not furious. How do we embrace change as a leader? I think it's pivotal for us as leaders to be nimble during this time. I think we can all acknowledge that there's never been more change in the multifamily sector than in the last 5 years. So, Helen Keller said, "A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn." As effective leaders, we have to know how to lead during these times of change. The ebbs and flows of our industry are incredible. I know at Windsor, our biggest change has been our centralization efforts. In 2023, we rolled out Windsor 2025, an initiative that is revolutionizing our business model. We've adopted the centralization of on-site support that we affectionately call the hub, along with regional leasing and maintenance. We've already seen a lot of positive results. Our teams have saved over 100,000 hours of work saved, which has given them the opportunity to focus on what we do best, which is providing superior customer service. This added focus on customer service has allowed Windsor to be recognized as #1 in customer satisfaction with the Kingsley Index for 3 years in a row. Humble brag. I couldn't be more proud of my teams, and I know even with our stellar on-site associates, they're still experiencing the discomfort with change, like we all are. So, how do we address it, right? How do we lead during these times of change and still encourage them to excel? First, we have to acknowledge the discomforts, right? Recognize that they exist and they're hard. Centralization is the newest buzzword in our industry, and everyone's doing it differently. The American Psychological Association has pointed to associates that are experiencing change are twice as likely to report chronic workplace stress than those with no change on the horizon. Bottom line is change is hard. People are uncomfortable and fear the unknown. They're hesitant to rock the boat. They don't want to challenge the status quo. And most importantly, they just don't want to be pushed beyond their comfort zones. Then I know you, if you're like me, you have those associates who are on your team that run into the, if it's not broke, don't fix it mentality, right? Wrong. There are always opportunities to change. And as my grandma would say, change is the only thing that's constant in life. As our roles evolve, it's critical for us to highlight the evolution. As empathetic leaders, we have to embrace resilience and not resistance. So how do we do that? It's simple. We encourage curiosity. Benefits of a curious workplace are clear, from problem solving to creative thinking to the encouragement of collaboration. Curiosity is a powerful tool that enables better systems, processes, and productivity. We all know that a happier workforce equals a more productive workforce. So, transparent moment here. We're all amongst friends, and I consider this to be a safe space. How many of you are curious about your workplace? Show of hands. Wow, that's good. Okay, guys. Well, according to Forbes, only 1/4 of people are curious about their workplace on a regular basis. Curiosity ignites engagement, innovation, and most importantly, leads to productivity. At Windsor, we encourage curiosity-based behaviors. We want our associates to live out our visions of embracing curiosity and leaning in, flexing those curious muscles to take risks. We realize that if we're not pushing hard enough and we don't fail, it's simply because we're not trying. Taking a page from my fellow Texan, Brene Brown, we embrace the clear is kind management approach. We dare to have candid conversations and listen to the feedback that we receive. We also recognize and reward curiosity-based feedback. We want our associates to come alongside us in the growth journey. Recently, we rolled out a Shark Tank contest where we allowed our associates and encouraged them to provide their feedback. We wanted to know, what are they seeing at the on-site level? What efficiencies can they bring to the table? What cost-saving measures? What NOI generating ideas? Again, we want them to come alongside us, so we encourage participation and we reward the results. Winners of ideas implemented receive a trip to our annual ops conference, as well as cash prizes. We rely on the partnerships of our on-site team to navigate through the changes with feedback. We know that feedback creates an inclusive culture, and after all, that's what we all strive for. Nationally, we send out employee engagement surveys, of which this recent one we had 78% participation. Locally, I strive to create an inclusive environment by making time for one-on-one interactions. I lean into the discomfort head on, and we talk through it. Now, if I'm being transparent, I know if you're like me, you're booked and busy and your teams probably stays on red, but I think as a leader, the change starts at the top. We have to make time for these pivotal conversations. Share our failures. I believe we set the tone for vulnerability, transparency, and authenticity, which leads us to the why. It's critical for us to remember the mission. The mission is our clear path forward, and it's our North Star. At Windsor, our mission is to provide communities where people feel truly cared for, and we can't do that if we're not caring for our own teammates. Provide clarity on what success looks like in this new normal, and how their specific roles play into the overall vision and mission of the organization is critical, and it will continue to motivate them to excel. I think a lot of the concern comes from our associates feeling like, oh my goodness, technology is going to take my job away. But as our roles evolve, it's critical for us to allow them to understand, yes, your roles will evolve, but centralization will allow them to have bigger, better job opportunities. And we have to connect the dots for them. By communicating regularly the vision and mission, it allows our teams to be better equipped to serve our residents who are really at the heart of what we do. Windsor upheld its high level of customer satisfaction through constant communication with our residents, our associates, so they understand how technology benefits all of us in the long run. Again, it's our job to bring our associates alongside of us. We're all experiencing growing pains, or as our chief experience officer calls it, the messy middle. We embrace this messy middle by utilizing technology. When we decided to centralize, a huge part of our evolution was figuring out how technology was going to play into our new normal. Centralization is married to the notion of leasing differently. Like it or not, high tech, high touch is the future of the multifamily industry, and it's here to stay. At Windsor, we utilize Funnel, Elise AI, and RealLink to better serve our resident today who has instant gratification, who wants instant gratification, and literally rent on demand. We've used Elise AI that set over 300,000 appointments in 2023. 121,000 of those were after hours, right? Like, we want to be able to adhere to the demands of our current residents and those that want to do it. We realized after being here at this conference that technology isn't going anywhere. We've got to buy in. Grace, we only saw a 6% interruption rate, which proves that technology, while it's a game changer for us, it can't do everything. We can't forget about the human component. Last year, we rolled out Windsor's Inspire to Aspire campaign, which kicked off our initiatives to focus on kindness, acts of service, and really building those resident relationships that make us who we are. I think for me and my team, at the end of the day, we realized that property management is challenging. This is a very stressful industry, and it's vital for us as leaders to provide our associates with the resources that they need to be pivotal, to be nimble, and most importantly, to be able to be mentally and physically prepared for the work that's ahead of us. Our teams are in the trenches, and if you're like me, you know what it takes to make our residents give those 5-star reviews. We partner with some amazing organizations lately, like LinkedIn Learning. Probably like many of you, LinkedIn offers over 5,000 free educational models. We've also partnered with Babbel, which allows our associates to learn a secondary language for not only them, but their immediate family members. My personal favorite partnership is BetterUp. Better Up provides one-on-one coaching for our team so that they can have the mental fortitude that they need to continue to persevere. Like I said, property management is hard. 850 of our 1,100 associates have truly leaned into these services, and 93% of our associates found that they're satisfied and they know that their managers care about their well-being. It's critical as we as leaders continue to serve our way to success that we give our teams what they need. In my 20 plus years of property management experience, I've found that a little bit of empathy and a lot of transparency goes a long way. So as we know, this is a really challenging industry. So I've decided to do weekly initiatives for my team to really help keep them engaged and have their buy-in. On Monday, we have Make It Happen Monday, where I send out motivational quotes and encourage my teams to add to the chat what's motivating them for the day. We add 5-star reviews. On Take Action Tuesday, it's all about a sharing is caring mentality approach. We share best practices in the region and enhance and encourage collaboration. We Got It Wednesday, we're talking about goals, helping to keep our teams focused on what lies ahead. On Take Action Thursday, my favorite actually is Thankful Thursday, right? Like literally, we practice gratitude. I also use this time to remind them when there's Better Up coaching sessions in place, or take advantage of the EAP program. On Fearless Fridays, we really just take a moment to celebrate successes big and small. At the end of our day, I want our associates to know that our residents matter, but they matter as well. I encourage you all, as you continue to serve your way to success, what are you going to do to pour into yourself as the leaders? Because after all, it starts with you at the top. Be curious, not furious, right? Embrace the change, ask the questions, harness the feedback, and don't be afraid to lean in and pivot. Remember the mission. Ask yourself the why, help your teams understand the role that they play in the organization as a whole. Serve your way to success. Find ways to pour into yourself as individuals, because after all, the change starts at the top. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Please don't hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn. Like I said, I'm Telisha Jones, and I look forward to learning from each of you. Safe travels home, RETCON.
Telisha, did you want to do any questions? You have
Do you guys have questions?
Thank you so much. Anything specific you want to share in terms of how you helped your teams manage through the change of the centralization activity?
Yeah, so we started what we call like the Pink Pioneers. We started our pilot programs where we selected individuals that we rolled out as a whole to identify subject matter experts, right? So it was one specific property in one specific region that we identified as the key change champions in our organization and used their experience of whether it's best practices or failures that we learn from to grow and become better.
Did you find any regions with centralization that weren't successful based on the demographics?
So we've kind of like taken our time with it, right? We initially rolled it out in Houston, which I think we had our more established associates there. But we're really slow rolling the process because, like I said earlier, we're pivoting because we found some failures, right, in identifying the efficiencies overall. And we wanted to make sure that we had all the systems in place to set our teams up for success and failure. So I think it's still a little too early to tell whether or not our A+ assets and our mainstay assets have the same experience. But we found that the utilization of technology from self-guided tours has been instrumental across the board in all portfolio levels.